The Supreme Court verdict that nullified River State local government election continues to generate reactions across the country. The judgment recognized Mark Namaole as the authentic Speaker of the River State House of Assembly and 26 other lawmakers that are original members. The judgment also nullified the budget and stopped all the revenue allocation from the Federation account pending. The governor will represent the budget to the Amaole-led House of Assembly. In a swift reaction, River State Governor Fubara has directed heads of the local government administration to take over the administration of 23 local government areas until fresh elections are conducted by River State Independent Electoral Commission.
I've had a meeting with my team of lawyers, and they have assured me that the certified true copy of the judgment may be available to them by Friday, the 7th March of 2025. I assure you that upon the receipt of certified judgment, we shall study the ramification and implement them without reservation to move the state forward. Furthermore, given the outlawing of caretaker arrangements in the local government system, I hereby direct Head of Local Government Administration to immediately take over the administration of the 23 local government council, pending the conduct of a fresh election by the River State Independent Electoral Commission. I further direct that the outgoing local government chairman to formally hand over to the Head of Local Government Administration by Monday, the 3rd of March.
So joining us now on the show to review the decision of the Supreme Court and the implementation being carried out by Governor Fubara is Malachy Ugwumadu, a lawyer. Great to have you, sir. Help us make sense. I mean, all of a sudden the court is now saying you shouldn't give people a state their revenue or local government their revenue. I think we tackled this many years ago in our political life. Then also the case up for determination as regards to lawmakers. We are still saying that there's a federal high court case that will determine at some point in April. I mean, it just makes sense out of all of what is happening in River State for us. So.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, sir.
Well, the sense to make out of it is to understand why the Supreme Court took the decision that it took.
Yeah.
And let's be clear about it. The fact that the Supreme Court has spoken doesn't mean we cannot show either disagreement or even criticize them.
Yeah.
Justice Uputa tells us that they are infallible because they are final.
Yeah.
From that perspective, you will agree that what happened was that the Supreme Court had the final opportunity to deal with the questions as regards the authenticity of the leadership of the House, and then took it further to now say, in consequence, the governor should desist from dealing with the 5-man members of the House. And then the funds standing to their credit should be withheld pending when he represents the 2024, the budget. I think that's spent now. So my take is that the Supreme Court has had the opportunity to deal with the 5 life issues that came before it. It has also taken a position. Some of us thought that the Supreme Court ought to also take advantage of that case to interrogate what has become a very disturbing and concerning political behavior of our political actors. And that is the question of, arbitrary defection. I had once written an article that I captured, defection as departure. You could say that is on the way coming, which is the one that is presently still before the Federal High Court, I suppose. But I believe that what has come out of this judgment, to put it, barely, is to say that the Supreme Court has put to rest the controversy as to the leadership of the House. The Supreme Court has taken advantage of that decision and made a consequential order ordering both the CBN and the Accountant General to put a hold to the disbursement of the funds meant for the local government pending the representation of that budget. That's my immediate reaction.
All right, thank you very much. Now, in terms of implementation, the governor said he's a law-abiding governor. He'll follow through. What are the next steps? I know local government elections have to be done again, and the budget represented. What would be the implication of that for the people of Rivers State?
Well, there's what we call case law. When the Supreme Court speaks on a particular issue relating to the law, it adds more clarity. And there are no longer ambivalence as regards that. So the Supreme Court has disagreed with the emergence of the local government leadership at that level of governance. And therefore, that will automatically impose a responsibility on the State Electoral Commission to conduct fresh elections and bring about legitimate, in quote now, leadership of the local governments. What for me it represents for the people of Rivers State is that first, there is a settled agreement. There is a settled decision relating to the status of the local government governance in Rivers State. There is also the prospect that if compliance, as the governor has assured now, crystallizes and becomes effectual, then there will be speedy and a more effective functioning of those local governments. And then the dividends of democracy and the progress expected within the time frame that we have will be more assured. So it calls for some, particularly from the angle of the governor that is now disposed as against the position they were pushing initially, that is determined and ready to comply with the judgments of the Supreme Court.
Well, he's ready to comply with the government of the Supreme Court. So the local elections, that is clear, that will hold. But what do you foresee will happen in the House of Assembly instead with this scenario?
Well, in 1 minute, sir. We're out of time. Oh,
well, I mean, there's not much that I'm expecting other than what has been going on. What has been validated is that the Martin Amawele-led house is the authentic house to deal with. And if that has been given a judicial, force, then it will mean that the controversy that had trailed its existence even before now has automatically disappeared. And they can now take charge fully, for that matter, and see that the democracy functions in Rivers State once again.
Should he represent this, or the 2025 budget? What if the Assembly refuses the 2024 budget as we wrap up?
For me, I think that the law does not command the impossibilia, lex non impossibilia. So, and most often it doesn't operate retrospectively, except in certain circumstances. So for me, I think it has to do with the 2025 budget, and that is the way to go.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.